York State Senate committee may have created a constitutional dilemma for the governor.
The Senate Judiciary Committee rejected Hector LaSalle to be chief judge of the Court of Appeals, New York's highest court. The vote was 10-9. LaSalle was the governor's choice, but she's argued the state constitution requires that the full Senate vote on her nominations, not just a committee.
So here to discuss what his committee did is Senator Hoylman Siegel, the committee chairman. So, Senator, good morning to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
So I guess the first question is, why not let the full Senate vote on the governor's nominee? It seemed like you almost shut it down before it could get to that point.
Well, the other question would be, why do we have committees in the legislature if everything has to go to the floor? This is our business in the Senate. That's the way we conduct it according to the state constitution. We work through committees, just like the United States Congress does. So does the New York State Legislature.
So Governor Hochul thinks that you misinterpreted the state constitution. She thinks where it says the judicial nominee needs the advice and consent of the Senate, that it means the full Senate, not just your committee. So why do you think that she's actually wrong?
Well, I think the Senate and the Assembly set their own rules pursuant to another clause in the state constitution. And as I mentioned earlier, we work through committees, and there's never been a nominee that has gone to the floor of the state Senate. There's never been a bill that's gone to the floor of the state Senate without having been approved by the requisite committee.
You know, so now the big question is what comes next, right? And there's a lot of rumors and conjecture about possible lawsuits. So do you think the governor is going to move forward, go to the mat for Judge LaSalle, keep pushing for him, and sue over your procedure? And if that does happen, I know we're talking hypothetically here, but what does that mean in terms of who's in charge of the state's judicial system?
Well, as it stands now, it is the governor's decision, but I hope she reconsiders it, because there's too much work to be done in Albany, whether it's supporting her ambitious state of the state agenda, which includes 400,000 new units of housing, $1 billion for mental health, and indexing our minimum wage to inflation. Those are lofty goals, and she needs Senate and Assembly support in those goals. I want to provide that. I think this would be a distraction that could undermine that very admirable agenda.
So what is it exactly that you didn't like about Judge LaSalle and the way he voted in particular cases?
There were a number of questions raised about decisions that Judge LaSalle was part of, ranging from criminal justice to abortion rights to workers' rights and more. And he just didn't have the answers for the committee. In addition to the fact that there were organizations across the state, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the National Organization for Women, the AFL-CIO, all opposed his nomination. And then finally, I think members of the committee want to see the court head in a new direction. The court currently is mired in conflict and divisiveness, and this clearly wasn't the candidate to bring the court together based on the public rancor just alone that this nominee caused.
You know, it's the first time since new rules went into effect 46 years ago that the Senate's actually rejected a governor's pick for top judge, right? I guess when you look at the totality of everything, the legislature and the governor kind of need each other to get things done. Were there conversations, before I get to can things move forward, were there conversations prior? And do you feel they were falling on deaf ears to kind of prevent the process from moving forward to begin with? It seems like you guys knew that he was not the candidate before yesterday.
Yes. Before yesterday, there were attempts at trying to shape the governor's choice for this nomination. I think those were largely rebuffed, and therefore we had a nominee that wasn't vetted prior to the announcement of the nomination. That's, in my opinion, one of the mistakes that was made before we had our hearing yesterday. But I do think we had a thorough hearing. I believe it was completely fair. The nominee himself described it as elegant, and it lasted nearly 5 hours. So I don't think anybody can say that the Senate didn't fulfill its constitutional responsibility based on yesterday's hearing.
Do you think that the process should be changed then?
I do. I mean, the way the Commission on Judicial Nomination operates, it's a real insider's game behind closed doors with individuals who many have a vested interest in who the chief judge might be. Professionally, they were advocating for certain candidates. And I think that's wrong. I think we need more transparency in the process. I think we need to take the process out of the hands of the governor and the chief judge. And we are introducing legislation that will hopefully help accomplish those goals.
All right, so briefly, because we're out of time, what comes next in terms of who's running the court system?
Next is, I hope, the governor's reconsideration of legal action and her returning to the Commission on Judicial Nomination.
Okay.
Since the Senate has rejected this nominee, and a new list of candidates from which she could choose, and hopefully one that Democrats across the board can coalesce behind.
Got it.
All right. New York State Senator Brad Hoylman. Siegel, thanks again for your time this morning.
Great to see you.